I wish I could say I'm surprised. I wish I could say I was shocked, but honestly, I'm just pissed off. I'm furious. And after you see what these officials said on camera, you will be too. Because what you're about to watch wasn't a joke, it wasn't sarcasm, and it wasn't taken out of context. Democrat lawmakers went on camera and openly suggested that the CIA, and more importantly, the United States military, should ignore the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, and that crosses a line we've never seen crossed publicly before. President Trump says their actions amount to sedition at the highest level. He's calling for them to be arrested and charged. We're going to go through exactly why he said that and the video every American needs to see. Tap that thumbs up, share this everywhere. Stick around all the way to the end because the full picture here is stunning and I got something special to offer all of you. All right, let's get to this.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army.
Our Navy.
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
Our Constitution.
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
What we just saw clearly went far beyond normal political talk. That was a direct call for the military and the CIA to ignore the commander-in-chief. That's not policy disagreement. That's breaking the chain of command. And once you cross that line publicly, you're not debating anymore. You're destabilizing. The big reminder from that clip is simple. In America, nobody is supposed to be above the rules, especially the people making them.
The President of the United States just called for Democratic members of Congress to be executed. This is not normal. We cannot allow this to feel normal. This, as far as I know, has never happened before in the history of the country. Every Democratic member of the Senate and the House, their life is in jeopardy right now, especially those that were specifically targeted by this social media post. Democratic senators and House members who were simply saying that no member of the military should act illegally or in violation of the Constitution. The President of the United States just called for members of Congress to be executed. If you are a person of influence in this country, maybe it's time to pick a fucking side. If you are a Republican in Congress, if you are a Republican governor, maybe it's time to draw a line in the sand and say that under no circumstances should the President of the United States be calling on his political opposition to be hanged. We are at a very dangerous moment right now. The President is engaged in the wholesale incitement, endorsement, and rationalization of political violence in this country. This is a very slippery slope that we are on. This is a moment for people to step up, for Republicans to step up, for business leaders to step up. Anybody who has a voice or a soapbox in this country needs to draw a line in the sand and say that it is not acceptable for the President of the United States to call on the murder of his political opposition.
That clip showed a senator raising the rhetoric to a whole new level. You could hear it. This wasn't about disagreeing with the president. It was about suggesting agencies break the chain of command. That's not something you toss around lightly. The reminder here, the system only works if the rules apply to everyone, even when you don't like who's in office. Could you imagine what would have happened if this occurred under Obama?
Well, indeed, I think that Secretary Hegseth was right. They have stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome. And it is inconceivable that you would have elected officials that are saying to uniformed members of the military who have taken an oath to protect and defend that they would defy the orders that they have been given to execute their mission. I find it inconceivable, but that is what they have chosen to do, and we will see what the response to them from Democrats. You know, Harris, I talk to Tennesseans every day. I did a telephone town hall last night. People want to see respect for the rule of law. They are appreciative of our nation's military and of the work they do to protect our nation. And I find this just so disturbing that they would say, defy the orders if you do not like the orders.
That clip showed the pushback. It was intense, but it also showed the deeper problem. Neither side is backing down. Both sides are escalating this fiasco. And after watching it, it became clear this wasn't about solving anything. It was about political retaliation. The one grounding point left after that clip is this: accountability has to be based on the process, not the revenge and not who it is.
And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
But the president has frequently, but Caroline, can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually,
every single
can refuse an illegal order, which
they're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful.
That media segment showed exactly how the story was being engineered. It wasn't about clarity. It was about shock. Every word was designed to inflame, not inform. And that's why watching it matters. It reminded me that headlines aren't evidence and framing is not the same as facts.
You're a former paratrooper, Army Ranger. You know better than most how crucial the chain of command is. You say you can refuse illegal orders. You must refuse illegal orders. What exactly are you telling the soldiers to do? Stand up and say no or quit?
No, we're telling the soldiers exactly what they're trained to do in basic training. Like I just said, you have to follow the law, right?
But what does that mean precisely?
Is really important, but above the chain, it means you follow the law. It means that if there's an unlawful order, if you're asked to violate the Constitution, you're not obligated to do that unless you. This president has a long history of saying nefarious and dubious things, right? But you don't ever wait until an order is actually given to train people and tell them what their obligations are.
So to be clear, to be clear, Congressman, you're not saying President Trump has already given any illegal orders, are you?
We're not talking about specific orders.
That compilation made everything feel rapid fire and coordinated. Even if the reality might be different, seeing statements back to back like that makes it easy to jump straight to conclusion. Context still matters. Takeaway here is simple. Outrage is fast, but proof takes time. Don't skip that second part.
Earlier today, President Trump threatened myself and a number of other service and veteran lawmakers with arrest, trial, and death because he didn't agree with a video we put out this week. This really isn't about those of us who made the video.
Now, this clip showed the rhetoric climbing all the way to the top. These weren't fringe comments anymore. They were people coming to incite a rebellion. with real power. And after watching it, it was clear. They weren't urging reform. They're nudging toward institutional defiance, sedition, and we know the big T word. The grounding point from that clip, a republic only works when all sides agree with the rules at hand.
And the courts have proven that. This administration has an unparalleled record at the Supreme Court because we are following the laws. We don't defy court orders. We do things by the books. And to suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do. And they should be held accountable. And that's what the president wants to see.
Trump's calling for sedition charges. And now that we've seen all these clips in order, we're left with the moment that started this entire storm. President Trump is calling for these officials to be arrested and charged with sedition. That's his claim, his accusation, and he says it the only way to protect the authority of the presidency and the safety of the American people is take action. Whether someone agrees with him or not, the fact that we've reached a place where the president feels the need to issue these statements is serious. They did try to kill him. This is going to tell you everything about the moment we're living in. This isn't normal politics. This isn't a routine. This isn't just disagreement on the playground. This is a breakdown of trust between elected officials and the institutions that they were meant to serve. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If these elected officials can openly urge the military, members of the CIA, and other government branches to defy the commander-in-chief, what does that mean for America's future? Let me know what you think in the comments. Share this video so more people see what's actually happening. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. We cover what the media refuses to touch. And whether you agree with President Trump or not, the fact that we've reached a point where a former and possible future president feels the need to make statements like this tells me we're at a boiling point. We're at a tipping point. It's not politics as usual. Let me know what you think in the comments because I really want to read them, and I read every comment and I try to reply to as many as possible. Folks, before we wrap this up, I just want to say something real. America's standing at a genuine tipping point. You feel it. I feel it. The tension is in the air. Something's in the air tonight, to quote Phil Collins. What we just watched proves it. We're up against a political class that thinks we won't notice, won't speak up, won't push back. But you and I both know this country is waking up fast. I want you to know you're not watching this channel by accident. You're part of a community that actually cares about where this nation is heading. So if you want deeper dives, calmer breakdowns, and a place to actually think things through, check out my other channel called The Fence Sitter. Also, a huge thanks to the sponsors that keep this show running. King Greens, Dark Arts, links are down below. Check out BILTONG USA as well. If you really want to be part of this movement, hit the join button, become a channel member. Jump into the private Discord. That's where you can talk with me directly and other like-minded patriots. It's a troll-free zone. We're in this together. Stay sharp, stay strong. And as always, we troll with truth. I'll see you in the next one.